Wow. My mouth would not fit, especially you have a beautiful large fit. It will not fit in the mouth.
That's a juicy fit. Hi, you've got Adult Buddy Finders. I'm Greenberry.
And I'm Kerstin, and we are in a hotel.
Oh, yes, we are. The Hilton, to be exact. And at this time, when we're recording it, we're actually on location at DomCon, a dominatrix conference with pros and just folks that are interested in the lifestyle. So go ahead.
And we are learning a lot.
Yes, yeah, exactly. We're here to basically learn for ourselves and share what we learn with everyone who's interested in learning too. Or if you know it, maybe you're like, okay, you didn't learn it all, and you'll message us and tell us what we need to know.
Because we need to know a lot.
So the whole reason that we even know about DomCon is because of today's guest. And today we're talking with Master Joshua. So what I thought was really cool, there's a whole bio about Master Joshua.
He's done a lot.
Yes.
If you can't see Greenberry's finger, she's scrolling like this because there's so much.
And if you're listening, you shouldn't see me at all. But it is non-traditional sexual behaviors, counseling, and therapy, NTSB. So Master Joshua uses BDSM and therapy to help break through shame barriers. And we're going to learn all about that as we go through. But since we're here at DomCon, we actually got to set in on one of his panels. And one thing I remember Joshua saying was, you bring me anyone, give me 12 minutes with them, and I'll tell you their kink. So I cannot wait to all right, what do you got, Master Joshua? Maybe we can find that.
But in context, he was like, the bigger part is to have consent and go through your own thing and figure out your own stuff first. Your self-acceptance, and then go down the kink path.
I don't remember any of that. All I heard was that he's going to meet you and tell you what makes you kinky.
And now Greenberry's like,
tell me more.
Here's your challenge. Yeah. Please turn me into kink. I dare you.
Yeah, so it's been a wild ride. This is only day 2 for us, and this conference goes on, I think, Wednesday to Sunday. Yeah. So we have had a tiny taste of it, and now we're getting more taste with Master Joshua. So BDSM therapy, thoughts, feelings, emotions, Kerstin?
When I got whipped, I had feelings run through me.
Okay.
And there's definitely something of putting yourself out there.
Yes.
That you kind of have to, you realize what's scary to you.
Yes.
And you have a moment of, why is that scary? At least I took that moment of, oh my God, I'm going to get whipped. And that's scary because what if I don't like it?
Yeah.
And I kind of always thought I was somebody who could take pain. And that challenges who I am.
How tough am I? How much pain can I take?
Yeah. And it was putting trust in this stranger, which also was exciting.
Yeah.
But scary because I didn't know. But we did have a little discussion of being safe before. Yes. So it was all safe, but that still runs through your head. And it was really fun to kind of let go and trust that he was going to take care of me.
Yes. Yeah, it's been interesting. I've been whipped. I've been caned.
She has. I watched.
She put on a tail.
I did. I wore it.
There are certain things I don't think I need that in my bedroom. But it was interesting for me because I was like, I don't want it to be painful. I don't want to feel the pain. I got spanked enough in my childhood. I don't want it in my adulthood. So I was glad to try it. And I was very glad because the people who were doing it are definitely pro levels. They know how to talk to you. They know how to make sure that you're very safe. So I think the thing about this conference that's really cool, we're talking a lot about the conference, but Master Joshua is part of the conference, so it all comes together.
Yes.
But I think the main thing about this conference that I thought was cool is that basically it's really wonderful for beginners, and it's a great way that you can get involved in these things in a very safe way instead of being like, cool, I want to hit somebody. Let's try it.
Question for you.
Yeah.
When we interviewed Kevin Allison, he talked about how he got spanked and it triggered him getting spanked as a child, which he did not like. Which, at least in that moment, he was getting spanked by an older woman. I think maybe spanking in general.
His mother spanked him sexually. What? No. Listen to the episode. I'm lying.
Did it spark any, if you were spanked as a kid, did that trigger anything?
I think to me it was, were you never spanked?
I was spanked, but it was so, it was the anticipation. It was the whole presentation. It was the whole build-up. And it was much more of the you let me down thing than, from what I remember, the spanking.
It's the shame all intertwined.
The spanking I couldn't even feel. It was like a little pat. And my heart was pounding so hard and I felt so horrible about shaming the family. No hitting of the bottom.
Mental spanking.
Oh yeah.
Beyond. Yeah, to me it was definitely like I'm lining up to get into trouble and I don't like to get into trouble. So, and it was fun. I mean, it was really fun to like to have this experience with people that are professionals at it and that they knew that I wasn't like that I'm not familiar with this territory and they weren't like, sorry, you don't know, get out of here.
No, they're very kind.
Yeah, to me it was definitely, how did you feel? I was definitely more like,
I felt so well taken care of.
Yeah, that was nice.
And it was exciting to try something new.
Yes. But to me, I did not feel like sexually aroused. I wasn't like, okay, I'm gonna like be trying to get this done to me in my marital bed.
Yeah, me neither. Totally don't need to revisit. Maybe.
We'll see if she ends up with a whip. Our day is not over yet, so where we're at, there's still things that could be unfolding. But as far as Master Joshua, with this whole conference, I felt going into his panel so far, we've been to probably 7, 8 at this point.
Yeah,
it was the most relaxing, comforting, calming room. We are trying to divide our time and go to as many things as we can, to see as much and to share as much as we can. But to go into his room, we're like, we're just gonna stay. Mm-hmm. This is a very peaceful place, and so much respect and love was in that space. So I'm excited to talk to Master Joshua, kind of see, delve into all of the things that Master Joshua has to offer.
And diving into his calm, embracing
serene
energy.
Oh, he has a great voice. I think you're going to love it.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, let's talk. Have you ever had glass in your stomach?
No. Okay.
I have to think about it, though.
I like it. All right, so we're still at DomCom, and with us live on location is Master Joshua. You are still Master Joshua.
Yeah. It's more for the internet. It sounds cool.
It does sound cool.
You know, at the end of the day, it's all role play.
Yeah.
And it's like, especially if you're naming yourself such and such. Yes. I'm thankful that I've had recognition by the community to be called that, addressed that way. It's but it's not something I don't lead with it.
Yeah.
What do you lead with?
Joshua.
Oh, okay. And then later, as you go on, it's kind of like when you have friends and they will call you a nickname, but you have to know the person for a while before you get the nickname.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. It's like I like to earn the respect.
Yeah, I like that.
And the honorifics come by choice.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That is cool.
It's not. You must call me this. To enter my therapeutic sessions, you must call me master.
It's like, it makes me think of martial arts and having the master, the teacher. Yeah.
That's the way I treat it. And I've done martial arts for a number of years, and I really appreciate the discipline of the practice, of the study.
Yes.
And I look at the lifestyle very similarly. Because you can talk the talk, or you can walk the walk. Yeah. And it's like, the discipline that it takes to walk the path of truth is difficult, right? And discipline is part of that.
Yeah.
So it's like it's very, they're very parallel in my opinion, in regards to life journeys.
And I feel like you walk the walk and you talk the talk. And you were just a walking, talking
Flogging machine.
Flogging machine.
No, it's taken a lot of mistakes. It's taken a long time, and I still make mistakes. But it's like it's taken a long time to admit the things to myself that I've done that I need to change, that I haven't changed.
Do you want to share any of those?
So a lot of it revolves around truth.
Yeah.
Right? Am I saying what I really mean?
Mm-hmm.
Am I hearing what a person's saying? Is it registering, or am I pretending to know what they're saying?
We were talking, and we've been here since yesterday and had long days, and we're a little bit tired, and we would stop and one of us would be talking and then have a moment of, I'm just talking to fill the space. I'm not even saying anything. I'm just talking because I'm tired and I'm trying to have something come out that's useful.
Well, we also touched on too, we're both here, we're both monogamous, and we are in these events kind of observing, and when people come up to us and ask us these questions, well, where are you in the lifestyle? And we say, oh, we're here for work. Okay, but what are you, a top or a bottom? And we're like, oh, how do we answer that? And how do we, we don't want to misrepresent or disrespect or, any of those things. And also how to say that clearly so that it's not like, oh,
So you say it by, I'm new and I'm still figuring it out.
Okay. Oh, I love it.
There we go.
Right?
From a pro.
I'm new and I'm figuring it out.
And it's like, it's the truth.
Yes.
Right? It's not misrepresenting.
Yes.
And you'll be continuously figuring it out as life goes on. It's
yes.
Like, the more you become aware of yourself, the more you'll realize you don't know everything about yourself.
Yes.
And then that in and of itself is a deep hole to go in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's what we're talking about today, is finding a buddy through self-acceptance and
yes.
finding that person, but first really finding yourself.
Good luck.
The cool thing about it is that there's no one's prompted us for that journey, for that information. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like
we're
manufactured to conformity, to conform to society.
Yeah.
And it's like you get cut off your individuality, your artistry, right, your spirit in some degrees, and you're made to fit in a box so that you can function like everyone else. And there's so much to us as individuals. Getting to uncover those parts of ourselves is important, right? So while to find someone, you have to know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Having the ability to ask these questions and present it so that people watching can hear it, and because no one ever sat you down and said, well, what do you want to do when you grow up?
Right.
Right?
We've heard that.
Yeah, right? And it's like,
which I don't think we know yet.
I'm figuring it out.
Question, yeah.
Right. So like my journey into it was I wanted to help people.
Okay.
So I went into the military. I was in the Marines for a few years. Then I went to law enforcement, and I was doing that for about 10 years. And then I went into executive protection. I was doing that for about 8. It was around that time doing executive protection that I realized the power I had in this lifestyle to help people.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right. So
were you in the lifestyle, BDSM lifestyle? Is that correct? Is that?
Some would say BDSM. Some would call it leather.
Okay.
What would you call it?
To me, it's life.
Okay.
Because I also deviate off of. I don't function with community heavily, because I feel it's boiled down to the lowest common denominator.
Okay.
And a lot of what's out there isn't a representation of who I am. However, the need to find folks who have the same beliefs and values of you.
Yes.
Right.
That's human.
It's human.
Sense of belonging.
Right. That's what I look for. Now, I consider myself a leather person. Meaning the leather community has a set of values and beliefs that hold it together, that represent it. Right.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to go really hard off left field to make a comparison.
Okay.
Right?
Cool.
You have
I'm on
belief
board.
systems. You have belief systems, and we'll call them Christianity, Catholicism, Judaism, right? Whatever
Religious
belief.
beliefs. Okay.
Right? Now, there's beliefs and practices there.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's beliefs and practices in what we do.
Yes.
The difference between us and them is I accept you as who you are wholly, sexual identity and all.
Mm.
The way that these are taught, because I don't believe religion as a practice is bad, because everyone practices it. Now, define it.
Yeah.
So spirituality is how one person treats themselves through their belief system. Am I being honest and loving to myself?
Mm-hmm.
Religion is how do I treat another living entity? Am I loving it? Am I giving it respect? Am I respecting its life?
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is now.
Through faith and doctrine,
Yes.
typically.
So we take our
She
belief
knows about
system.
me.
Yeah. Yeah, right? So you take your beliefs, and how you engage with people is theoretically based off of this belief box that you have.
Mm-hmm.
How we're taught it is different.
That's fair.
Right? Because the interpretation of the beliefs and practices matter.
Yeah.
What I try to do through my belief in what the leather culture is help people find their level of self-love and authenticity for themselves so that they can represent themselves truly and understand their value in a connection so that when it's reciprocated, they can see it, and when it's not, they can move on.
I like that. That's kind of the whole idea of not everybody's going to like you. And that's fine.
Yeah.
That's totally fine.
Right.
But they don't need to be your people.
Right.
And it's also important to know who you are. And I hate when they say, "What are you bringing to the table?" I am the table. I get it, right? But you understand.
I saw some tables at this.
Yes, a lot of tables. Right, and it's like the more you know about yourself, because no one's perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but like we're jigsaw pieces, and the more you know of yourself, the more you'll know in those crevices of how do I fit with someone else.
Oh, I love that.
Analogy.
Analogy.
You said it and then you didn't.
So the idea is, as you gain more self-awareness, experience, you will be able to start asking other people the right questions, because no one ever sat us down to talk about connection.
Yeah.
Right? They box us again. Back to the conformity thing. They box us into fitting in like everyone else.
And a lot of don't even think about it or talk about it because that's not good. It's not good for your spiritual path to be thinking about sex.
Because I was told X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, that's what I've been told. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And even beyond religion, a society of should we be? Is this safe for the children?
Yeah, it's almost like any social structure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there you have economic, you have spiritual, religious, you have government, you have society, you have culture, politics. There's all types of things that are telling you not to.
Yeah.
And then on the whole other side of it is a soul
Yes.
that's been beaten up from childhood until I like to say midlife awakening. Some people call it midlife crisis.
I like the midlife
Right?
awakening.
That feels much
Let
better,
us
especially because
grow.
it's right around the corner for me.
And it's like no one sits us down and tells us everyone's lost.
Mm-hmm.
No, everyone's winging it. Everyone's trying to figure it out. No one ever says that.
Oh, every year that we're supposed to be adults, it's like, I still don't know. I'm supposed to be the grown up here.
Wait,
Shit.
I'm supposed to know?
Yeah.
I'm
Right?
supposed
I'm
to
the
be figured
leader.
out? Uh-oh.
And that's like a scary awareness. at
Yeah,
first. You're like, oh shit, who's
absolutely.
steering the ship?
Oh yeah.
Right?
And it kind of goes back to the figuring it out, and your whole life you're figuring it out.
Oh,
Which
totally.
feels so nice because I'm like, thank God, I don't want to figure it out right now or have a deadline for figuring it out because it's always changing.
Yeah, it is. It's always changing.
Yeah.
In the body mapping class that I did yesterday,
Yes.
Which was awesome.
There was the question that we covered at the end about our bodies and our relationship with touch and sensations, and it was like it's always going to change.
Yes.
And always going to change, and it's like we are. If you're doing the same shit you were doing 5 years ago, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, ask yourself, why am I in the same place, and what is keeping me back from moving forward?
Yeah. What am I afraid of? What's, yeah.
So how would you give advice to somebody to figure themselves out?
So I host an intensive. No.
This has been one big commercial.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
We go to those a lot.
We do.
It's tough because,
and especially sexually, like how I feel like, and we did just say you're figuring it out all the time, so you're going to constantly be changing. But what is a
maybe
good
if there's
little
like some mapping, mental mapping, if you have any techniques like
or questions to ask yourself or something? Do you have something that you're like, oh yeah, are you feeling a little uncertain about who you are, that doing this questioning will help, or just
what's intense, what's tough about this question is I would say go look at X, Y, and Z online and do the surveys. But the surveys mislead you. The surveys end up building you out into categories. This is what I like, this is what I don't like, and this may be what I like. And it's like there's no real guidance through that.
Yeah.
What was your journey then through you? We didn't actually kind of get into how you became involved in the leather community.
Okay, yeah.
So that might be helpful.
Yeah,
I'd love
for
to.
context. So through that time with my work through the military and the government and trying to help people, while I was doing executive protection, there was a gentleman I worked with who, it was the first time I was approached. I was on my own journey. I was involved in the community, hosting events. I don't think I started hosting events yet, but I was out there and talking, and I learned heavily on the power of listening.
Okay.
Right, just holding space. And what I learned in that process is if you just listen to a person and you treat them with respect and you reciprocate vulnerability, then that's how connection happens.
Mm-hmm.
And before I knew it, I was being able to connect with folks who had their walls up with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw the power behind that of creating space and then helping you feel the way you need to feel in order to feel validated in your desire or existence. And I helped someone. And it was like, wait a second, I can do this. Because one, I enjoy it. I enjoy putting people in tough situations. I enjoy sensuality. I enjoy physical energy exchange. But the ability to get someone to say, I feel seen and heard, and this is who I am, was extremely powerful.
Nice.
So I steered into professional domination that way.
Okay.
Through that journey and my own private life of dynamics and making mistakes and readjusting, I found my connection to God through it. I found my purpose.
Nice. You still have that call to help, and you're using every tool that you have now.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what it is. It's like a mechanic isn't just a mechanic. A mechanic is a person who's lived a life and had life experiences and wisdom who's going to be working on your car.
Yes.
Right? So it's like the connection you can make with the mechanic. Hey, what's up, Joe? How are you? Blah, 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 blah. Having genuine connection and then allowing them to provide service for you.
Yeah.
It's like that's my intention is I want you to see who I am as a whole person, and I want to see you. I show you I'm a whole person first.
Yeah.
Because Master Joshua, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And then we get on a Zoom call and I'm just dressed in my pajamas. Because I want you to see I'm just a person.
Yes.
And I dedicated my life to helping folks reconcile their relationship with their identity.
Mm-hmm. It feels similar to me, especially being a small town girl, and Greenberry, I'm sure you're on board with it feels kind of like small town, especially the mechanic thing of like, you get to know the whole mechanic. You're not going to a mechanic. You're going to Joe, the neighbor, the father.
Who's somebody's grandpa or grandson or however.
Who's Rick's grandpa and Jenny's brother, and you know the whole person, and he also gets to work on your car. Yeah. For you, it's the same of like, you get to know Joshua as a full person, and he gets to work on your body.
Yeah. The way I've steered it is I have to ask a person the question to bring them the self-awareness. Mm-hmm. Right? So like an example of that would be, tell me something you wish people knew about you.
Oh. What do you wish people knew about you, Greenberry?
That's a tough one to answer on the fly.
Right? That is. But I like that. That digs deep.
Another one is, why do I matter?
Oh, yeah.
Saying to yourself,
yeah,
why do I matter?
Why do I matter?
But you also ask your client or
I have them fill out this. I have an intake form that takes like 5 hours to complete.
Okay.
And what I'm asking them to do in that is to reflect on their life, to have some introspection and to understand who am I and what do I believe to be true about my life.
And so that's basically how you're helping people find out who they are and reach self-acceptance as well. So you have a questionnaire for that.
But it takes 5 hours.
It takes about 5 hours.
So you got to be ready.
Which, honestly, if you're figuring out yourself, that seems short.
This first question, I'm like, oh, geez, I gotta think about it for a while.
No, but the cool part about it is that they're very pointed questions in order for you to understand yourself fundamentally.
Yeah.
To ask someone, well, why do you matter?
Yeah.
To see if their vibration, I hate these phrases, but they matter, right?
We're in LA. We love it.
It can help though. Any sort of verbiage, it can help make things more clear, 100%. Even though they might be kind of woo-woo-y.
But this all goes back to the beginning too of identity and figuring out who you are and how to communicate it.
Yeah.
And instead of fitting into this box that society said this is what you're probably going to be because you are a male and you are your age, you will be this. It's like, no, okay, how can I communicate?
What do I feel?
I'm not that box. I'm not the one thing you think I am just because I'm a white female. What am I, middle life?
Depends on how long you're in. You could be towards the end.
I guess we'll find out at the end.
Yeah.
Shit, midlife is 12.
Yeah. Oh, dang it.
Where am I?
No wonder I was in crisis at my age. Or discovery. We actually talked about this in your intro, but I have already forgotten the acronym. The acronym to your therapy. Non-conforming.
NTSB.
NTSB.
Which stands for
non-traditional
sexual
behavior.
Yeah.
And this is part of your therapy.
So, what I would call it is work.
Okay.
What the process of the reflection does is in itself a form of therapy.
Okay.
For the individual asking themselves the questions and coming and speaking their truth to someone. It's almost like a form of confession.
Is it one-on-one always? Or is there groups?
So when I work with clients, it's one-on-one, or if they're couples, or however that relationship is.
Okay.
At the intensives, we do large formats.
Okay.
So 20, 30, 40, 50 people. And what we're doing with the intensives is we take the process that I use with my one-on-one clients, and we break it down into a more accessible process for the vanilla folks. We'll call them the less
You can call us that.
No.
No. That's likely how I identify.
The vegan leather.
Vegan leather, kink curious, vanilla, vanilla extract.
And what we do is we put it into the hands of the attendees at the intensives so that they can create the space.
This is for the everyman. This is for
every person.
This is for when someone like us, they come up to us and what did you tell us to say? I don't know yet. I'm still exploring. I'm still exploring. That's entry level.
Yeah.
So anyone, this is for anyone. Okay, cool.
That's what I'm going to say. I'm entry level.
No, but it is because ultimately what I'm trying to do is to help people figure out who they are so that they can ask for what they want.
Yeah. So that is, okay, so basically next step. So say you've helped somebody figure out who they are, and now how do they get a buddy?
And
knowing that.
You think that this can happen in one seminar typically?
Well, yes.
Okay.
The awareness of lack of awareness.
Okay. That's the step.
That's
the step
that's
one.
The step.
Okay, now I have a step, a clear step.
Cool. Right? Because it's like we and 99 out of 100, 999 out of 1,000 times, people don't know what they want. But they do know what they don't want.
100%.
There you go. Right? That's true. I know what I don't want. Yeah. That's maybe an easier one.
And that's a much easier entry point. And that's what we help do is find the language around both those sides of the perspective.
Okay.
That's how I get dinner. Usually
Or
it's I don't want Chinese, I don't want pizza, but anything else is good.
And then once you've mentioned it, someone's like, "Oh, Chinese sounds good." Like, damn it! I saw what I said. I didn't. Why did I mention it?
I don't want to sit on your face. Well, now that sounds good.
Now I said it out loud.
Now it's real.
So in a session, is it what the imagination might think that there is some sexual or intimate aspects to a therapeutic session?
So with the intake form and the reflection, we'll spend, and this is me personally,
Yes.
not everyone operates this way, we'll spend at least 6 hours talking before we're in the same room together.
Oh, wow.
Like on Zoom?
On Zoom, yeah.
Or phone.
Or phone.
How do you talk these days?
Yeah, right.
We've forgotten.
Definitely not text.
From across the street.
And because what I need to do is I need to build rapport
Okay.
and trust with the person.
Yeah.
I'm going to rewind real quick. I love that you threw in there not text. Because I feel like text gets mumble jumbled
I love
so
texting.
fast. No matter how many emojis I put in there, somebody will not pick up my sarcasm, and I love sarcasm. So yes.
I love text, but I don't know that I want a therapy text.
That's fair. So by the time we get our hands on, they found permissions to be vulnerable. They found permissions to communicate openly. They can say what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Through the group work, we're creating that experience so that they can do it themselves.
Nice.
So that they can speak their truth, hold space for someone else to reflect it back to them, and feel what that process is, to be vulnerable and safe. Oh, another thing, if you're beginning, go to educational spaces to learn and to observe and to make your mistakes, because there you have people who will be more informed and can provide the guidance, the education, and the safety and the support should you need it. Because you don't want to figure this shit out on a Saturday at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly.
I've learned so much just going to the classes here.
Yes.
I feel much more safe.
Literally thinking about someone sitting on your face and that it could kill. It could, like, you could suffocate somebody. So, like, you know, to me, it's like, oh, yeah, that seems easy enough.
Yeah, I'll just sit on their face. I know how to sit, and they know how to have a face. Done.
Of course it's that easy.
Like, oh no, there's hospitals could be involved in this.
Yes.
Yeah. I know a few people who have died or their partners have died through this journey of BDSM and love.
And in just simply taking a risk, not realizing it was risky.
Mistakes.
Yeah.
And I love that too, of taking classes and going that route, because then you can meet people.
Yeah.
You can
Yes.
meet people, you can talk, you can find out more about yourself also from talking.
Yeah.
Another thing is normalizing the conversation.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're looking for someone who can't have a conversation about identity without making it about sex, that's a flag.
Love
Like,
that.
can we talk about
Although
sex without trying to have sex?
Our podcast is usually like, how's your sex life?
It's a separate
Right, but like those are signs.
Yes.
Can a person talk to me without making it sexual?
Yes.
Well, and even in our tiny interaction, obviously, like, even at these events, everyone is at different levels. So to be able to say clearly, like, hey, yeah, we're just here to work, and they go, okay, and you go, no, we're just here to work. So yeah, it is like, okay, you're a person that I don't need to, not that we're going to be going to a room with them anyway, but if we were, you know, you're like, okay, and it's just like anything, the vibes at the bar. It's the same anywhere that you go, that it's like, okay, yeah, there's something about this that tells me no, and that's a good one.
That's
like,
a very good assessment. It's
yeah.
like, because people think coming into the kink community, they're going to find the right one, and Mr. Gray and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
And
Mr.
it's like,
Gray.
this community is no different than any other space.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
You have all forms of level, all forms of commitment, all forms of expression and experiences.
Absolutely.
And it's like, the only thing is everyone's dressed up and talking about sex.
Yes.
So people step into the community thinking that I'm going to be accepted and safe because everyone's curious like me.
Yes.
But that's not the truth.
Just like anything, there is variants of it all.
Huge
I mean,
variants.
even whenever we're looking at these panels where it's like face setting, whipping, playing with cattle prods, being there's just different things. Even lock and key. Are you a top or a bottom? Where do you fit in? And that doesn't even if you're a top and you find a bottom, that might not be for you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like any other space in the world where it's not like everyone's here like, cool, we're here to do it, and they're like, you're just watching people have sex everywhere you go.
Yeah.
It's just like any other space.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, well, this is on the table for a lot of people, and they're gonna let you know if it is.
Because there's like an expectation of awareness and safety.
Yes.
And it's like, you can meet someone on OkCupid and not trust them.
Yep.
But I can go to a fetish party and trust everybody there.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. It's
Yeah.
like they're both fucking equally creepy.
And non-creepy.
Or risky. Sorry, risky. Not
well,
creepy.
we've gone over creepy. Creepy is more so the I just want sex.
Yeah.
And that's without
just exactly what you said. Like whenever it's like, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
Fuck. What?
Yeah. Without consent, without anything, just I want to hump. I want to hump.
What?
Yeah.
What? Lady, what? What is going on? This is not a conversation.
I'd like to get to know the person a little bit more before they work on my body.
Although we did walk up to people and say, will you whip us? And they did.
And I
They
like
asked them to teach us and take care of us too.
Yes, they were very
And then whip
nice.
us.
They were very nice. So it's definitely a space of, and you kind of live in this space, right? This is where you work and you do a lot of these conferences. So this is our first. This is not your first rodeo.
I've been coming to DomCon for about 5 years. I'm not staff. I volunteer.
Yeah.
And I volunteer out of service to the community.
Yes.
Because it's not easy to put this stuff together.
Absolutely.
And Mistress Cyan is a mentor and a friend to me.
Yes.
And she's held space for me in tough times. And
Nice.
I will always pay it back however I can.
Awesome.
But it's important, there's no but. It's important that if you're nervous and you're afraid, take however long it takes to find the courage that overcomes the fear. But when you do, take the step.
Oh, I
say
love
yes.
that.
And I do love that too, of giving yourself space.
Yeah.
And kind of like we were talking about earlier, giving yourself space to figure out who you are, and then take that step, get out there.
It is scary. I mean, we're codependent, and we definitely need each other to do a lot of things.
A lot.
But we met people here that they had driven for hours. They came by themselves. They don't know anyone, and they're like, you know what? My goal was to come here, and I'm here, and that's really an incredible step to take.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to meet people that are doing the scary thing. And we actually got to talk to her at the end. She made friends and has numbers, and so it ended up being a super success for our girl Kerstin.
Yeah, that was a great story with her. Great interaction.
Try
we had
hard
with her.
things. I think it's try hard things. It's scary. Everyone's scared, and then we always come away with that. Yes, it's scary. Everyone's scared. We're all scared here.
Yeah.
Even if you've done it for a while, I imagine that you have some fear in any new space.
Yeah, I don't profess to know I know everything.
Right.
I have fears of making mistakes.
Yes.
And I still make mistakes. I have not making a mistake of harming someone.
Yeah.
And it's just be aware that you don't know everything.
Yes.
And that we're humans.
Right.
Yeah. So when you do figure out yourself and you've kind of figured out the other person and they kind of fit with you.
That's usually in your life review after you're dead. Once you got it all laid out.
However long our lives are, who knows where we are.
We don't know where we're at in the timeline.
This is not a death podcast.
No. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh my God, for a joke any day.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess what I'm getting at is, okay, so you figured out yourself, and at least you're figuring out yourself, and now you've figured out somebody else through asking those right questions and finding out that you're two jigsaw pieces.
You fit.
You fit.
You're supposed to be there.
Yeah. And so I guess then, like, how do you continue that journey of self-acceptance within a relationship, whatever that relationship might be, polyamory or monogamous or whatever? How do you continue? Because it is a continual figuring out, finding out who you are. How do you do that with another person?
So I think invest in the friendship. I think find people who make you feel safe. Think about that person who you've been able to be yourself 100% or the closest to. Let that be the threshold for connection. Listen to your body, pay attention to the red flags, because your body's your best friend. It's with you the whole time.
Yeah. And when you say like body red flags,
like if your stomach is off, or the person makes you feel uneasy, or something doesn't feel right, like listen to yourself.
Yeah.
What is the difference between, because we already experienced it with the whipping, where there's anticipation and you are kind of clenching everything, and there are butterflies, at least in my stomach when I'm about to get whipped, like butterflies in my stomach, I'm clenching and like, oh my God, what am I doing? And then there's the pleasant release of like, oh, that was fine. I got whipped and it felt good and I feel great. What is the difference between that anticipation feeling versus the this is red flag feeling?
Trust, right? Like vulnerability. Ultimately, you have to ask yourself, does this person have they earned access to my time, body, and resources?
I love that.
Right? It's like, have they proven themselves to be in support of who I am and accepting of me?
Yeah.
Right? Does the person help me feel good, or do they help me feel like there's something wrong with me? And it's like and it's always simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
To be able to reflect on it and say, invest into your connections. If they start off as friendships, cool. And that's the hard part about this, is we want to find someone we deem attractive. Well, ask yourself, what's attractive?
Right.
Beyond physical, what's important in a person?
Exactly.
Right? Because now you can have sex, it'll be great 3 minutes. What do we do for the other 23 hours?
Oh,
right?
That's the other things. We're like, gosh dang, are people having more sex than we are? Like, what do you think? Are people doing it all the time around here? Because we're like, geez, is our sex life dry? Because we're like, sexually takes about how long? 7 minutes a week, maybe?
That's all I got time
for. So it's like, because ultimately, when you find someone you can trust, you will talk about who you are. And when you share and they reciprocate it back, and it's not about what can you give me, it's about this is who I am, do you accept me? And when you find that chemistry back and forth of acceptance, it's like, for me, it's like, what do you want to fuck? But it's like, before that, it's, do you want to explore together?
And I love this too. What I'm pulling from what you're saying as well, with the anticipation being different than the red flag, is if it hurts you, you can turn around and be like, that hurt, and the person you trust
Stops,
and you built that, they'll stop, and they aren't like, oh, you big baby.
Correct.
Unless that's what you like.
100%. 100%.
And that is the difference, is you trust that you can speak up and say your truth and they'll respect it.
Yes.
Versus you're not sure if you speak
sure.
up and that might be a bad thing, and then you're in this place where you're like, oh God, I don't want to be here anymore, get me out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel bad about myself and I can't speak up and speak my truth.
And you nailed it right on the head. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
You want to avoid those connections. You want to avoid those feelings. Like, if the person, and there's differences between mistakes and miscommunication and then intention, right? Being honest with yourself. If the person's not willing to talk through conflict, right? That's an issue.
Yeah, I would say so. That's a huge red flag.
It's like, let someone earn your submission by building trust. Let someone earn your dominance by consistency.
Ooh.
Right?
Do we have a t-shirt with that? We need to make a t-shirt with that. I think that's great. That sums it up right there. Like, the joy in DS or
Yeah.
that's what it's called, right?
I think she leads on like she doesn't know. I think they know.
What are you talking about?
They know a lot more than they're telling you.
I don't dom what? Shut up and give me respect.
Yeah, she's got a fantasy to be
Let me sit on you.
your fitness dominatrix.
That's right.
She wants
I've
to make
actually
you
been
squat.
sitting on a man this whole time.
Dreams do come true. So are you down to talk to us a little bit about your personal life?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool. So how does this work affect your personal relationships? Do you have a steady relationship?
So I'm in a polyamorous relationship.
Okay.
I have quite a few partners.
Okay.
But the profession doesn't engage with it because I don't. The level of intimacy that I have with my clients isn't sexual.
Okay.
Right.
Meaning, I don't have sex with them.
Okay.
Do I do things of sexual nature to them? Absolutely.
Are there orgasms?
For them, yes.
Yes. Always?
No,
Okay.
absolutely not. That's a lot of the time. What I do is tests of endurance. Right.
Okay.
What I mean by that is we do impact flogging, like really varying levels of percussion on the body.
Okay.
And what I want to do with that is I want them to either find the space to let go and cry and be angry and shake it all out of their body,
Okay.
or to build them up slowly so that I can show them how far they can go and to show how strong they are.
Okay.
When it gets to the more intimate things like fisting and sounding, to me that's about vulnerability.
All right.
And you said fisting and
fisting
sounding?
and sounding. So
Yeah.
fisting is when I
Yeah.
put my hand into someone's orifice, generally the butt or the vagina,
Okay.
It could be mouth.
if they have a big enough mouth.
Wow, my mouth would
Yeah,
not
'cause
fit
I'm
a fist,
I'm-
especially you have a beautiful large fist. It will not fit in the mouth.
That's a juicy fist.
And that's like a vulnerability. That's like a desire that a person has. To admit that is one whole journey in and of itself.
That your fist won't fit in my mouth?
No, no.
Kerstin,
Okay,
where are we?
What
I'm
are-
sorry, where are we? What's happening?
You have to pay for that service.
Why does my chair keep moving? Stop it.
And it's like the vulnerability of communicating it, the vulnerability of actually laying there while I open you up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love
Yes.
it.
Literal.
Figurative and literal.
Literal
Yeah.
therapeutic opening.
Just talking about it, I feel vulnerable.
And-
You feel open.
Very open.
I heard something open down.
And my personal life, I switch. I like the bottom. I like to receive just as much as I much to give.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's
love
really
that.
cool.
My personal life is a lot more sexual in BDSM though than my professional life.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right.
Because the difference is
shocking and stuff like that. Like,
sexual.
no, like, do you do BDSM? Do you do like the shocking?
I
And
do electro, I do rope, I do impact, I do knife, I do fear.
Oh wow.
Like I really like, depending on where the person wants to go and how they want to feel, emotionally or mentally. That's the.
You're down for the ride.
That's what helps me learn how to curate what they're looking to experience.
That's awesome.
And you use that to basically as a form of therapy with your
He's
clients.
talking about outside of his relationship.
Oh, we're back in relationship.
No, but-
Are we in a
No,
relationship
actually-
or out of the
got it.
relationship?
That was actually professional.
Oh, okay.
And what I do with that, the therapeutic and therapy element the therapy comes in the conversation
Right.
of them seeing that they're validated and affirmed and they're not broken.
Right.
The therapeutic element happens in the play. Like for some people who suffer from chronic pain, bottom, so that they can not feel the pain.
Okay.
They'll
then
feel a
it
different
escapes.
sensation,
Yeah.
but it helps them move away from that.
Yes.
There was a woman who was dying of cancer once who asked me to help her feel beautiful one more time. And
Oh
it's
my
like,
gosh.
if that's not fucking therapy or
Right.
therapeutic,
Wow.
right? It's like
How was that experience for you? That is an incredible ask.
the level of responsibility behind that is scary.
Yeah.
Because what if I disappoint?
Absolutely.
And on the other side of it, it's like I was able to do that.
Oh, I
love
believed
that.
you from the beginning. I was like, you got it. I feel beautiful, and he doesn't touch me with a fist or anything. Just words. And those words feel good.
So yeah, it's like that's what I get to do on the professional side. On the personal side, I have to do what I'm asking of my clients, and that's
Okay.
about communicating openly and effectively with the people in my life. and unlearning habits and moving past the idea of omission being okay, right? Because it's not necessarily lying, right? But if I don't say something,
it's a lie.
It's a lie, right?
Yeah.
So it's like really coming to understand the importance and the significance of truth in its entirety.
Yeah.
Simply because I'm asking my clients to do it, and they're showing me how their life is, it's leaps and bounds. So it's like that's the power of this, and that's the evidence that I have. And I get to see my own life of the consistency, but I also get to see it reflected in theirs.
Yeah. So the student does teach the teacher
all the time, all the time, all the time.
Where do you get training for this?
Mine came, and mentorship is hugely important for folks that are curious about going down this road. Mentorship meaning finding someone who has experience and wisdom in the general direction you want to go, that does not want to have sex with you.
Oh, there's a little caveat.
Not want to have sex with you.
There was a whole podcast about psychedelics and therapy and basically how it can be abused. So,
I went to Queen Psychedelics a couple weeks ago.
So that is honestly like it might sound like a funny thing to say, but it can be abused. Anything can be abused. So it's a very good point.
This too, like, because if you have someone who brushes up on all the knowledge and they sound like they know what they're talking about, they can sell anyone on anything who's new to it because it sounds right.
Yeah.
And that's the whole power dynamic, and that's why there's a whole issue about bosses sleeping with their subordinates, which is a whole thing, which is also a kink, but because
people can and will abuse power, and in going back to that instinctual situation, like if you want to fuck this person, that is not your mentor. That is somebody that you want to sleep with, and maybe you can learn a little bit from. But that will not be a good mentor-mentoree situation.
Yeah. Having it be both, there's a whole lot of responsibility that goes behind that.
You gotta draw a line.
Yeah.
But I also like what you were saying when I was asking you, like, what do you do? And you're talking about your knife play and everything. We actually did a panel on that today about the bag of toys, the tools. It's the person who's using them.
Yeah.
And it's the situation, and you are finding with your partner, and you have partners, what they need and what they want, and that will control the scene, which I've heard scene a lot here. I think I have a general understanding of what that means, but can you break down what scene means?
So the word scene, essentially, what it means is there's a negotiated energy or power exchange within a time frame, and this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to play.
Okay. All right, cool. I was like, I know it, but I don't know it. So
have it said. So same with Munch yesterday.
Yeah, Jay told us about Munch.
Yeah, heard it a lot.
Totally not what I expected.
Not quite what I was thinking. I thought there was
and it is.
And it is, and it's not. You'll have to listen to that episode if you want to find out what Munch is.
The secret of the Munch.
Okay, I think for this, we're getting close to the end of this, but did you have a bonus in mind? I have a bonus in mind.
I have one more question for this, and then we can do a bonus.
Okay.
Quick question, maybe.
Never.
Never. We love just talking and listening. So yesterday in your class, you said something about basically give
that
you
was my bonus.
Oh, did you? Okay, let's save it. We're going to talk about turning someone kink or finding their kink within 12 minutes. I think.
That if I had 5 minutes, I could get that.
5, not even 12. But you're going to have to listen to the bonus if you want that information.
Thank you all so much for listening and watching if you're watching. We are so grateful for anyone who's liking, loving, and listening. And we definitely are so grateful to you for your time, Master Joshua. This is so cool. It was wonderful to meet you and to learn so much from you.
Yes, thank you. I definitely learned more about myself.
Me too. I really appreciate it, and I really, if you folks enjoyed and got the tingles in your belly like I did, give them 5 reviews, follow, subscribe. listen to what they have to say. They are phenomenal people.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, love that. And if you want to find out more about Master Joshua, please check out the show notes. We're going to have more in there about him and about what we talked about today.
Yes.
And stay tuned for next week. We'll have a bonus with him, which we kind of teased earlier.
Yeah.
And then after that,
love to tease.
You're going to have to tune in to see what we got for you.
Yes. Come back for more. We always bring it, baby.
Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.